Every nation for itself, God for we all. So spoke former British Prime Minister George Canning, a man whose statement is largely attributed to the collapse of the continental system, Europe's first attempt towards a European Union, which came just after the Congress of Vienna in 1815. And in the early 1920s, then U.S. President Harding said the chief business of the American people is business. And last Friday, January 20, U.S. President Donald Trump declared, "Buy America, hire America." Hello, wherever you are. A very, very warm welcome to yet another edition of your weekly international current affairs program, Globe Watch, from the Cameroon Radio Television, the heart of the nation. Moments from now, Donald Trump will walk into the Oval Office for his first full day as President of the United States of America. Last January 20, he took the oath of office in front of an estimated 900,000 audience that thronged the Washington Mall to see the new President of the United States of America take office. He delivered a speech which lasted less than 20 minutes and void of any international engagement. What can we make out of Donald Trump's inaugural address? My guest today on Globe Watch is a diplomat by training and the chairman of the Yaoundé-based Center for Strategic Studies. Dr. Christian POUT, welcome to Globe Watch.
Thanks, Charles. Very happy to be here.
We, the citizens of America, are now joined in a great national effort to rebuild our country and restore its promise for all of our people.
You listened to Donald Trump last Friday deliver his inauguration speech, roughly 1,418 words in less than 20 minutes. What did you pick?
First of all, Charles, I must say I'm very happy to be here with you because 4 years ago we were together analyzing the inaugurational speech of Barack Obama. And I must say the state of mind around the world was quite different. I heard the speech on Friday, which I think surprised me. Not that much, because as a scholar in international relations, I followed Trump campaign. And I must say it surprised the world, because we all thought that these were campaign words, and now that he is getting in the office, he will change his mindset, he will change his communication. But we were surprised. He continued with the same communication, which denies any particular links to the world, any particular analysis of international relations. We did not have his vision of the world. His vision of the world is America first. And this, for me, as an inaugurational speech, was very surprising from the one who is going to lead the world's largest economy, the most military powerful country in the world. And I must say that I found some aspects of the speech very vague.
January 20th, 2017 will be remembered as the day the people became the rulers of this nation again.
There was no mention of Africa, no mention of Europe, no mention of Russia, no mention of Latin America, no mention of Asia. It was a speech void of any American intervention in the world. Is it time for total isolationism?
I think what really surprised me with this speech was that President Trump really did not mention, as you said it, no other nation. And even I felt myself like he was threatening the rest of the world. Because if the most powerful in a room say it will only be me now, me and myself, I think the other who are less rich, who are less military powerful, who have less performant industries, who have less performant banking system, who have less innovative system, will feel like this guy is gonna kill us. Let me use that word very, very clearly. And I was surprised because we live in an interdependent world. We live in a very complex world. If you just simplify the reality of the world by saying, while you are taking oath in office, by saying it will be me and myself and my people, and I really think it is something.
Let's get the speech portion by portion.
We will follow two simple rules: buy American and hire American.
What does that mean in a globalized economy where everything is interdependency? What does that mean?
You can just interpret it as nationalism, as protectionism. That is all. There is no other interpretation for that. And I think for the times we are living, Donald Trump has not been the pedagogue of globalization. At the contrary, what he's expressing in this communication is that he is not going to believe in globalization. Globalization is just interesting when it serves American interest. And you can understand that he is not matching with the interest of the others. When you refer to we are going in our frontiers, we are going to bring back our jobs. Imagine that speech, how it echoes to people in Mexico, which is depends on their exports. Their GDP is made half of their GDP depends on the export with United States of America. Imagine how it sounds for people in Canada, who are linked with the United States within the NAFTA treaty. When you say this is not a good deal, imagine how people in the World Trade Organization are reacting. Imagine what can be the reaction at the IMF, at the World Bank, at the African Development Bank. For a superpower leader, I think we need thoughtful policies.
The crime and the gangs and the drugs that have stolen too many lives and robbed our country of so much unrealized potential. This American carnage stops right here and stops right now.
Back in 2013, some 73,505 Americans suffered injuries because of firearms, and in 2015, some 33,636 Americans died because of the gun culture in the United States of America, according to the Center for Disease Control and Prevention. And that is almost twice the number of people killed globally by terrorism same year. How do you end the American carnage in the U.S. when you are the first supporter of the possession of guns in the U.S.? Contradictory?
It is really contradictory. And I think now we are going to see how he will be matching words with actions. And this is what personally I'm expecting. And this is what personally I really think the global leaders are expecting, because it is really surprising. You cannot say one thing and it's contrary. And if you go earlier than this sentence in his speech, you cannot be sitting in front of all the congressmen and say, these people just behind me, they did not do the right thing for 30 years. They have make you become poor, and they have screwed the people. So how can you do that?
Washington flourished, but the people did not share in its wealth. Politicians prospered, but the jobs left and the factories closed. The establishment protected itself, but not the citizens of our country.
Donald Trump's cabinet is made up of what I call the billionaires club.
Yeah.
How can somebody who wants to work for the poor not include the poor in his cabinet? How can somebody who claims to work for the vulnerable and minority groups not include minority groups in his cabinet? Because Donald Trump's cabinet does not have no Latino, which is the largest growing ethnic composition in the United States of America today.
When you take people like Rex Tillerson, former CEO of ExxonMobil, he's
the world's largest energy company.
His estimated net worth is billions in CFA and in dollars. When you take his Secretary of Treasury, Mnuchin, he's a billionaire. And
even the Education Secretary,
Betsy DeVos, and Mnuchin, you know how he made his wealth? By putting people out during the mortgage crisis. And when you are leading a cabinet with such people, how can you try to make a difference between you, we, the people, and the others who are from the establishment? This is what is making my surprise. My surprise is not coming from the fact that he's saying that words. It is that now that we are seeing him in actions, his actions are not matching with the ideas he was doing during his campaign. He picked people who are from the establishment, and now he is insulting the establishment.
I understand that in areas like Detroit in the United States of America, which is the heart of the U.S. automobile industry, at least 5 million jobs have been lost after the global economic turmoil of 2008. Do you think that Donald Trump's economic recovery plan, which is not even first of all known to anybody, will work?
It should be known before we can analyze it. For the moment, it is some vague sentences that he has put on the face of the world.
Because the website of the White House has been reworked,
Yes.
and we have just 6 priorities. America's energy plan, America's foreign policy, trade deals, and you can imagine the others. There is no mention of the LGBT community. There is no mention of women. There is no mention of climate change. All these issues that everybody considers to be a threat to our generation are left out. What is the meaning of all of this?
The meaning is very simple, and I will say, like the flight attendant can say in a plane, go back to your seat, fasten your seatbelt, and because we have turbulences ahead. This is really, we are going to live an unpredictable world. And how can you say globalization has not benefited from the champion of globalization in the world? The 35 million people living in Mexicans living in the United States of America, they send back to their country 25 billion per year in remittances. This is the richest country in the world, saying to the others that you cannot benefit from globalization because it should be us first. I think how to establish his priorities. He talks about America's infrastructure. He depicted America as a very poor country. When you listen to this speech, you think America is a third world country, which is not true. You talked about economic recovery in America. American economy is recovering from 2008 crisis, and this is very clear. The Obama administration, in its balance, has created 11 million jobs.
15 million jobs
15
in reality.
million jobs in reality. So how can you...
And that should be the largest job creation in U.S. history since 1939.
Yes, it is recorded because, but it is recorded also that Clinton created 21 million jobs. Okay. So it depends on the sources. But what is clearly known is that Obama created more than 11 million jobs.
For many decades, we've enriched foreign industry at the expense of American industry, subsidized the armies of other countries while allowing for the very sad depletion of our military. We've defended other nations' borders while refusing to defend our own.
Who was he talking here?
Yeah, I think we as Cameroonians, we should be afraid of this part of the speech because we have 300 American militaries supporting us on the fight against Boko Haram. We have got some materials, military materials as part of this support. I don't know if we should be afraid, but I really think we should be afraid with this part of the speech because it means that our military cooperation with the United States and our global cooperation with the United States of America is going to be assessed. And if we fell in the bad part of the assessment, probably he will review the cooperation with us, and we should prepare for that. And that should be the same charge for the other countries. Perhaps
NATO,
NATO,
Asia Pacific,
NATO will now be assessed. The American support in all those organizations will be assessed, and I'm afraid of the results of this assessment.
Let me just pick one country in particular. Yeah. The Obama administration has had the record of being the best military defender of Israel with over $30 billion arms deal with the Israeli government. Since the creation of the State of Israel in 1948, it has survived thanks to U.S. military supply. Tel Aviv surely was the most worried capital in the world with this statement, right?
I
Is Donald Trump going to let down Israel with such a statement?
Normally, if you follow that statement, they have reason to be afraid. But as we know, there are some links in his cabinet with Israeli people, with part of Israeli politicians.
Donald Trump says that he doesn't want American establishment politics. And American establishment politics simply mean we must always support Israel.
And this is where he's really, really contradictory, as we said earlier. And now I think he's the president of the United States, Charles. We are going to witness in the upcoming weeks and months and years what he is really going to do to match words with action. If you say you remove the Americans from the fight against Boko Haram, so in Niger, in Cameroon, in Nigeria...
But I think he made a comforting statement that we are going to eradicate Islamic terrorism across the world, or radicalization. Those are the words of Donald Trump.
Yes.
Is that a comforting statement at the same time?
But you cannot, in the same speech, Charles, say we are going to fight terrorism, and then you say we are tired of supporting other militaries. Are you going to fight terrorism from Detroit and send your planes from Detroit to go to the border of Nigeria, Cameroon, or are you going to establish a cooperation with the neighboring country to see how with their political leaders you are going to organize this support? I think there is something that should be clarified for the rest of the world.
Roughly 900,000 people attended the inauguration ceremony of Donald Trump. That should be far less than those who attended Barack Obama's first inauguration speech in 2009, where there was at least 1.8 million people attending at the Washington Mall, where the ceremony normally takes place, and close to 1.2 billion people globally watched it. But those who attended protest against Donald Trump's inauguration just a day after were plus 1 million.
Yeah.
What does that mean?
It only describes how divided American society is today. And this is a result of Trump's speeches. This is a result of Trump's campaign. This is a result of the way he tried to divide the society, putting the people, which is not identified, as the source of power, neglecting the institution, neglecting the political parties, neglecting some of the battle the American people has fought these past years about
Afghanistan, Iraq,
even
Somalia.
Even internally, the rights of the minorities.
Black Lives Matter,
the
civil rights movements.
Yeah. He has ignored all that. He has stigmatized all those people. He has tried even to criminalize them. So the result of that is that his inauguration day, people didn't feel that much interested in, and they came the day after to protest.
Let's get some global reactions on Donald Trump's inauguration ceremony. You were just talking about the divisions he created. French newspaper Libération qualified in an headline 2 Americas, 1 president. Le Monde, which is equally another French newspaper, said that there was a lot of moderate enthusiasm only because people just wanted to see what the qualified seemed of a far cry from the favor of a campaign. And some Russian newspapers call it a cabinet of racist, financial fundamentalist warriors and anti-workers. This is one newspaper from Brazil, Estado de Sao Paulo. This is how the world reacted to Donald Trump. Protests in London, protests in Sao Paulo, protests in Sydney, protests in many other countries around the world. A rejection of an American president.
I think this is how the world should react to Donald Trump. Donald Trump should be respected because of what he is. Even though he is contradictory in his speeches, now he should be also watch out what he's going to do for the next months to see if the words he has used are going to match with the actions he intends to do. Even those who are threatening the rest of the world, we should try to convince him, because we are in an interdependent world. If you announce a trade war with China, you know it will reverberate across Asia and Africa. Nobody wants that. Even in the United States, I think he who has a cabinet made of bankers, made of financial leaders, they will not accept. They will not allow him to do so. You have the political control, which is made by the Congress. So I think institutions in the United States are strong. Now, we should respect Donald Trump, but we should rely on institutions. We should rely on democracy to try to lower the bad part of his character.
We will reinforce old alliances and form new ones and unite the civilized world against radical Islamic terrorism.
What are the new alliances he's talking about?
I just want to answer you, let's wait and see, because I was expecting him to announce the areas in all the countries with which he's going to build these new deals, but nothing followed. So I just, we are going to see what Rex Tillerson is going to do.
Are you afraid to say that there will be a new smooth line between Washington and Moscow?
No, I'm not afraid of that, because I don't know if it is in that area that is going to establish relationship, because even in Moscow today, his reactions are not predictable. Even in Moscow today, I don't know if there has been such a big sympathy with his arrival at the State House. I am not sure. You can look at the media, you can look everything. You just quoted some Russian media in one of your president analysis. I'm not sure. Nobody really knows in which world we are going to live with Donald Trump as leader of the free world.
It is an established tradition that each time a new president takes over in the United States of America, his first foreign destination is Canada,
yeah.
and vis-a-vis. We have not seen that exchange between Justin Trudeau, the current Canadian Prime Minister, and President Donald Trump. Donald Trump's cabinet has just announced that British Prime Minister Theresa May will be in Washington in the course of the week. Of course, this is America's special ally, what they call the special relationship. What possibly would they be talking?
Charles, the Donald Trump speeches we are dealing with today does not follow any of the traditional staples of this kind of speech. So what do you expect Justin Trudeau to leave Ottawa to come to the inauguration of somebody who is saying that the NAFTA is the worst deal that has ever been signed? I think
NAFTA, the North
American Free Trade
Agreement.
So when you treat your neighbors like that, how do you expect them to react? I think these leaders must be feeling some frustration. They are also expecting that the political process in the United States, the Congress, will help Donald Trump finally polish his talks, bring out thoughtful policies that we need in our current interdependent world. I am not afraid. He has encouraged the British to step back from the European Union. And perhaps this is the kind of advice he wants to insist with Prime Minister Theresa May.
We will build new roads and highways and bridges and airports and tunnels and railways all across our wonderful nation.
You and I know the American political structure so well that the President of the United States of America doesn't have the powers to order for the construction of roads. Those are issues which each state manages independently.
Yeah.
Since he is an unconventional character, should we expect a modification of the U.S. Constitution? Should we expect a modification of how the Congress of the United States functions for Donald Trump to take all these powers?
No, I'm not sure we are going.
Because if he doesn't do that, he will not do all what he's saying.
He will probably not do all what he's saying, because the American institution will not allow him to do so. I'm quite sure of that. And this is why it is really populism, because you cannot refer to the people as the only source of power when you know you are working in a democratic context.
When you and I listen to Donald Trump across the world and around the world, one word comes out clearly: uncertainty.
Yeah.
What is the value of uncertainty in political leadership? Does it have any value, any importance?
Yes, we live in a very uncertain world, and uncertainty is now a variable that you and I, just as citizens, we should consider when we do anything.
Dr. Christian POUT, thank you very much indeed for being guest on Globe Watch today.
Thank you very much, Charles.
You're welcome.